Hello everyone, Gunter here, and welcome to the first ever episode of Gunter Talks. No, seriously. And this is basically just going to be a podcast type deal where I just sit down and talk about certain topics for about 30 minutes or so, maybe 45 minutes. And hopefully you guys enjoy me just spouting out nonsense and my opinions and just me letting some, steam or just wanting to chat with you guys. Even though if it's not super directly like I would do in chat and stuff like that in Twitch, just being able to just get my voice out there is something I wanted to do for some time now. And I feel like in this format it'll be able to help me get that point across. So yeah, of course this is the first episode, so this is gonna be a lot of fumbles and mumbles, so hope you guys can bear with that. So why don't we just start with just some introductions about me being Gunter Drigger 6. Now sorry, I just kind of blanked a bit. What did that name come from? Where did the name Gunter Drigger 6 come from? And that, my friends, came from a kid who was in high school around 2007. Yeah, it was around 2007, because I was probably around early junior or just late in the sophomore year. And it was around a time where I needed to have a username for I believe it was either the computer I was using at the time, or probably when I first got my I didn't have my 360 until 2011. It was probably for the computer. Sorry about that. So the name Gunter Drigger 6 came from I would say a 16-year-old child, a 16-year-old brain with just three simple concepts, namely being Gunter. The first part, let's talk about the first part, Gunter. How did that originate? Where did that come from? Well, that originated from my old 6th grade class in German. German class, I should say. A German class that I took in 6th grade. And it was back in the time where I was actually somewhat interested in German for reasons I'll go probably later in this episode. But in my class I was given our textbook, and our teacher, he said, here's all the lists of typical German names for boy and girl and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to let you choose one of these names. And you're going to have and we can use that for the rest of the class. And I was like, "What? Really? Oh, wow. I never got a name like that before." And just it kind of blew my mind when I was in 6th grade. I didn't think I would be able to choose what name I wanted. So that was an interesting thing for me. So yeah. And I went and chose Gunter, but it was supposed to be pronounced Gunter with an umlaut. You're supposed to put an emphasis on the U, because it has an umlaut on the U, so Gunter. And that's how I've been, sorry about that, that's how I've been pronouncing it for the longest time. Even, I believe, early in the YouTube days when I was just doing no face cam reaction videos, that's how I pronounced it in the beginning. I'd be like, "Hello everyone, Gunter Drigger here," and blah blah blah. That's how I would pronounce it back then. So yeah, that's pretty much how it originated. But then after a while, after that, I started pronouncing it Gunter. because I believe in when I was playing Ultimax on Xbox 360, I was on the voice chat with some dude. Excuse me, I was in voice chat with some dude, and he came up and just pronounced it Gunter and stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, that's a neat little way to pronounce it." So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at there. There's no real way to put the umlaut on like the usernames and stuff like that. You have to go special keys. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it at Gunter. And also that helped influence some people thinking like, was it from Adventure Time? And I was like, no, but I'm gonna go ahead and slide it in just a bit because I happen to like Gunter in Adventure Time. It's a cute little character. But there's one thing that kind of struck me. This is going to go on this weird off tangent, but I want to talk about this. There's a show called from Disney XD, if you guys remember it. It's called Kick Buttowski to Suburban Daredevil. Now, any of you guys know this series? It's a pretty unique series, I would say, because it involves this kid that is in, I'm going to guess middle school, because I don't think it was high school. Excuse me. I don't think it was high school. And basically this dude, this little kid, who was always dressed up as a Daredevil outfit, to where it was just like Evel Knievel style type of suit with a helmet all the time. And he was like a short little kid. He was like a short little, like, barely up to like, I want to say less than 3 feet, 2 feet. It was like a short stack little kid. And he would always do these crazy, stupid stunts right there in his own home. And he had an older brother. I forgot his name, but he would call Kick a dillweed. And that was like a fun little censored cuss to have. But then he'll have a friend. Now, this is what kind of struck me in the beginning. He had a friend called Gunter. And that's pronounced, spelled Gunter. Not, mine doesn't have the H. But that character struck out to me, not just because of the name, just because the fact that he was basically the comedy relief character. And he was probably my personal highlight of the show. I really liked that character. And I was like, yeah, and it's not just because of him. I still like the show in general. And I really wanted to see like how it ended, because it involved like this weird, like this, since I'm a weird Japanese weeb, I'm just going to say, this had this weird tsundere girl. Like you would think, just picture Hey Arnold, Helga from Hey Arnold. And that trope just put into Kick Buttowski. And so yeah, they would have that going on, and they would actually have some sort of thing happening, and I never saw a conclusion of it, and I don't think I ever will, because as of now, I believe it's off Netflix. I don't know if they actually put it on Disney Plus, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get Disney Plus. But if you guys happen to try to find it or be able to see if it's available, go and check it out. I'd say it's a pretty fun, enjoyable watch. And yeah, that was my small off tangent of me talking about a show that I don't think anybody much watches. So we can move on to the second part of my name, the Drigger. Now, where did Drigger come from? That came from an old early 2000s series called Beyblade. For those of you who don't know what Beyblade is, it is basically just typical anime style sell toys to the kids, but with tops and spiritual monsters that were inside of the tops, and they would use its power to like destroy buildings if it got too crazy in the battlefield and stuff like that, or in stadiums, I should say. And just like, it was over the top, silly, nonsensical, and I love that series. And I feel like it gotten a bit of flack since it wasn't as hip or it wasn't as popular as, say, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or shows of that nature where they sell products to the kids. But I love Beyblade. I still love it. I still have DVDs of G Revolutions up to Volume 5. Probably need to see if there's the rest of the collection out there. But yeah. And going back to the Drugger part, there was a bit beast, I should say, that had a white tiger, and it was named Drugger. And it was one of the main bit beasts, one of the main 4 bit beasts of the 4, which I found out later on, the 4 big mythical creatures, being a dragon, a phoenix, a tortoise, and a white tiger. And they gave inspirations from that to create these main monsters in the show, spiritual monsters in the show for these tops. And I just liked the white tiger. It was like I said, I was a kid back in the day. Like, if that was like early 2000s, then yeah, I was like 12 or 13 when that show was running. And yeah, I liked white tigers as a kid back then. And I mean, what else could I say? I liked white tigers, and I still do. I still like white tigers. This is still one of my favorite animals. And it just stuck with me, and it just made me want to just put the words Gunter and Drugger, and it was like, oh, that sounded nice as a little, like, 16, 17-year-old kid, and it was like, I'm just going to do that. I'm just doing that. And then 6. Why the number 6 of all numbers? Well, I don't know. 6 always stuck out to me as a number that I would choose out of the number 10 numbers. Because typically you see a numbers 0 through 10, and just like people would choose number 1, 2, 3. 3 is like the most common, like most recognizable and stuff like that, or something like that. But then you just get 6, and you're just like, that's something that gravitated toward me about that. I don't know. It's just something I liked about it. And then after a while, I made a joke about how number 6, I'm more like number 6 because it's slightly above average. And yeah, that was a stupid joke, and I'm glad I abandoned that and left it to be buried here on this little podcasty type thing. So yeah, that is how my name came to be, and I still use it even after over 2 decades of me creating it. It is still here. So yeah, that is my name. What else about me should you care about? Oh, that was a weird way of phrasing that. All right, so more about me. I like playing fighting games. Fighting games is one of the things I enjoy playing, just because, like, it's just fun. Like, being able to know how to fight certain matchups and how to get into your opponent's heads and how to just be able to do fun combos that feel great. Not that also look cool, but they also feel great. That's an important thing to me personally. Everyone has their own reasons or have their own feelings about it. But I like it when the combos feel good to do. Like when they feel natural and feel flowy and stuff for me. Others they just do it and they just like how it looks and they want to replicate how cool it looks. And yeah. But yeah, doing combos, knowing your opponent, and just the overall dynamic of just you versus someone else, and just one-on-one, your own strengths, your own weaknesses, all up in one table. And it's just like it's so honest. Like, even though some games are like not honest at all, but it's just that pure honest feeling that I just enjoy in fighting games most of the time. It's just, you got nothing but yourself to look at when you lose or win, And you just have to reflect on that and just learn how to just be able to gain knowledge out of that experience. Sometimes it'll make you good player / person or something else. Other times it'll go into the opposite direction. And I just think that, yeah, just fighting games, this is for a different topic or a different episode. Hopefully sometime if I continue this series. The FGC is on a rocky slope. It's on a rocky type of thing currently, but it still has its players that still love it and want to make it better and want to help people get into it to make it more better than it previously was. And that's the good thing about this. That's a great thing about this community. It generally wants to help people grow and be better, not just as a player, but as a person as well, for the most part, or now at least, I should say. All right. What else? Man, this is just, it might even be less than 30 minutes. Will it be less than 30 minutes? I don't know. I can probably talk for a lot more. How about the fact that I like to watch, not as much, but I like to watch anime. The last anime I've watched was last year, and it was JoJo Bizarre Adventure. JoJo Bizarre Adventure is an actual crazy journey and a literal adventure, because I remember when I first saw the first season of it, and I kind of fell off of it a little bit, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to persevere towards, like, when part 5 was drawing its conclusion, I was like, you know what, that little snippet of the opening, because I got spoiled by opening, that little snippet of the opening, I want to know, that looked so interesting and cool that I have to see what the deal is with that. And that took me from going to season 2, I believe, Battle Tendency with Joseph, and then finishing through about a month and a half's worth of watching episodes of JoJo. And I don't think there was any other series that made me do something like that. I don't think. But yeah, I do want to try and watch some more anime when I get the chance. It's just trying to see where I can find the anime that I want to try to do, because it's kind of like an up and down type of thing. I'm trying to figure out first what to watch and then also how to watch it, because there are various other things to watch anime currently, whether it be streaming services, whether it be just going and just lucking out and finding a cheap version of the DVD / Blu-ray of it. And yeah, that's pretty much like kind of a thing that I'm trying to figure out, because besides watching anime, nowadays it's being replaced by VTubers, and that's another thing I can talk about. VTubers. I've been, for the past 4 to 5 months, no, not 4, I want to say 3, around 3 months, I've been watching a lot of VTubers, like so many VTubers, like mainly from HoloLive, because that's where where my first exposure came from. And then afterwards saw some Niji Sanji and saw some other ones that are not from both of them. And I was like, I'm really digging. This was like the VTubers somewhat unconsciously filled the void of me not watching anime. Because before I would watch VTubers, I would watch more anime. Or either anime, I would probably watch some My Little Pony, which, if you haven't guessed from my icons, I'm still technically a brony, even though I have not finished this series yet. I have not finished the series. I think I still need to watch the rest of season 8, and then I have to watch the rest of 9 to finish that off, plus watch the 2 movies that I've missed. And yeah, once I catch that all up, that'll be a whole little topic I'll talk about in a different episode. But yeah, so that was basically me going through figuring out what to watch, whether it be anime or My Little Pony, or it could be, before then it was probably just watching weird movies, just movies I would find like either on Netflix or just stuff that I just found lying around, because I rarely watch movies in theaters nowadays. Like the last, I believe, movie that I watched in theaters was Endgame. Yeah, Marvel's Avengers Endgame. And yeah, that was quite a bit, wasn't it? Yeah, that was quite a bit. So that was a weird little tangent, but yeah, also need to try to watch more movies in theaters. I kind of like that experience, but at the same time, I just sometimes my brain doesn't automatically go, hey, I need to watch movies in theaters. It goes work, and then go home, watch whatever, or play whatever, and then sleep, or eat, and help my mom with stuff that she needs to do with the house, and make sure she's alright and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. That's how my brain works. It just focuses on certain things at certain times, and it doesn't go straight to other stuff like movie theaters or stuff like that. And now it's currently dealing and just focusing on the pandemic, which I'm gonna say at a point, it literally made me anxious unconsciously, if that makes any sense. It made me anxious to where I didn't want to do literally anything as far as like streaming, as far as like just doing anything that I kind of really wanted to do. So there was points where I wanted to I was like, all right, I want to try to do this, and it's just like kind of roadblocks to where I would just sit and just watch VTubers a lot. That's where I think most of the binge comes from, on VTubers, because I was watching it so much to where like I didn't stream for literally a week and a half, and it was just terrible stuff. I couldn't do any YouTube stuff after that as well. I couldn't put up video. I wasn't really productive as I was back before March. So yeah, that's something I'm trying to change now. It's slowly getting there. It's not back to where it was previously, obviously, but I'm trying to find a way to, because like I said, I have to adjust and see how things play out nowadays. And just like my mind is racing too many different directions at once, and it couldn't really focus on a flowing path like I would back before all this particular stuff happened. But I am getting better at it. I'm slowly finding the path again, and I'm just trying to make sure to get you guys more content like this podcast type content that I want to give you guys. Because honestly, I wanted to have this type of thing, like I think I said this earlier, but I might as well say it again. I wanted to do something like this for a while now, like maybe 2 to 3 months. I've been having this on my head, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna see if I can just throw this out there, and hopefully that I can try to get something down and try to just see where it goes from here. Nothing really much to say, but just throw it out there and hope for the best. So yeah, one more thing I want to say. one more thing I want to say as far as like my quote unquote personal life, as far as like updates of what I'm doing. I'm currently trying to save up for a new computer that which will help me have a slightly better stream quality to where I'm not just relying on my PS4 to stream, which I'm very surprised that I was able to get a decent amount of production value out of it. Like, I gotta, if guys who don't know, who haven't seen my streams or don't know anything about it, the way I stream is I stream off of my PS4, and instead of doing that, how most typical PS4 players will have that default overlay that the PS4 uses, and it'll generate chat and it'll have your PS4 icon with the game next to the chat and stuff like that. I tried using that when I first saw that you can do that, like back in 2018, and it shows up on your TV screen as you're streaming. And back then when I wanted to play fighting games, it got too distracting, and I was like, I can't have this. I'm going to be looking up at that black bar, and I'm not going to be focusing on the match. And so I took it off, I kept it as a full gameplay, and eventually I went and bought a PS4 camera. And I was like, I'm just gonna put a couple boxes, place the camera on top of those boxes, and I'm like, I still need to see the chat. I need to figure out a way to see the chat. So I had a laptop, a Chromebook, I should say, to where I thought I would try to see if I can stream on that, but turns out I'm an idiot and didn't think about processing power and stuff like that. So now I just use this Chromebook to look at the live chat, and I'm still probably going to do that once I get my PC. I'm going to keep this laptop. And I have my PS4 camera, and then for my audio, because I still want to do commentary and wanted to talk while I played, I had a USB headset. I believe the Logitech. It was a Logitech, but I forgot what model it was. It was wired, and it had a little clip where the button for the mute button is. And I think it was a 209. I could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, that's what I would use, and it helped. Like, I mean, I still have it, because whenever I want to do like commentary, I have a mute button and stuff like that. Yeah, that worked so surprisingly well. Like I can't believe how well that worked. And I'm just surprised. Like, for those of you who are new to streaming and want to get a cheap microphone that that you want to start off with, definitely go and try that out. Is Logitech, I think, 290, I believe it is. It's a $25 to $30 headset, USB headset that you can get. I don't know if Walmart's selling them anymore because of the certain situation. But if you can find it either on Amazon or anywhere else that can have like safe shipping, definitely go and check that out as your first like cheap microphone that has a decent quality. You just gotta really be able to take care of it and not like go ham on it, because it's still pretty fragile because of how cheap it is. But it'll do you some good. Like, it's been over 2 years since I've had that mic when I first started streaming, and it has been going good, so good that when I use my tournaments, when I hosted tournaments, I use that. You can go to my YouTube right now and check all those Grand Blue Fantasy Versus tournaments, and that microphone you hear, that's what I used, and it still works pretty well. It still works pretty well. Nowadays, I'm using the Samsung Go mic, and I have it hooked up to this. Um, oh, I am blanking out. That should not be a thing to do in a podcast. All right, so I got this puff guard, little puff guard. I'm trying to go back and not get too puffy. So I just got this puff guard, and also got this mic stand to go with it. And this cost probably, this whole thing together probably cost about 50. It costs about 50 to 70, probably like $50 to $70 in between this whole set. And yeah, this is what I'm going to be using for now on until I get a better mic. But yeah, this is also a good alternative. The Samsung Go mic, if you want to try to check that out. The only main problem is that it has a clip to where you can't really like use it like traditionally. It has a clip to where you can put on your laptop on the top, and you just use it like that. But yeah, to get the best out of it, you would have to put it. It has a setting for less than 10 decibels. You put it that, and you have to have the microphone like close to your mouth as possible, like at least a good couple inches, 3 inches maybe. And you also have to have a pop filter. That's what it is. And you have to have a pop filter for it. And yeah, that is the microphone I'm using. It is so cheap. It's still affordable. It's so good. I remember a long time ago that I used to have a Samsung Meteor mic, and that costs around $60 to $70, and that is pretty much the same quality as this microphone. But the main difference with that is that the Meteor mic has a mute button, whereas this microphone does not. So I'll probably get the Meteor mic later on. If not, probably not. I don't know. If I'm gonna be upgrading to the PC that I want, then I would have like a click mute type situation to where it would just mute the stream, or I just mute my mic on the stream, and I don't have to do it manually. So I'm probably just gonna stick with this for the foreseeable future, unless something cool falls in my lap. Okay. What is it? About over 20 minutes? About 20 minutes. Do we have anything else to talk about? No, that's pretty much it. Because right now we're just talking. I just basically talked about most of my interests and what I've been going through in my life. And as far as like childhood stuff and some other type of deeper conversational topics, that could be for a different episode. Yeah, that's it. I mean the other thing I could probably say is that I like to eat, and thanks to that gift of me liking to eat, I go and find ways to cook sometimes. Like I don't cook as much as I used to, but I do have a good interest in cooking if I see that there's interesting ingredients and interesting dishes I want to try out. Like there was a while that I actually cooked some Japanese food because I was the super crazy weeb like that. But I cooked tonkatsu, I've cooked okonomiyaki, I've cooked tamagoyaki, I cooked fried rice, onigiri, multiple versions of onigiri. I forgot which, the one that just like the whole seaweed wrap is like basically a big sandwich. I don't know. I have to find it out again. But yeah, I basically just cooked a lot of Western style dishes while also trying to do some more traditional ones, which I'm actually thankful that there was a Japanese market nearby where I lived, even though that nearby equates to what, 30 to 40 minute drive from where I live. But it's still close by to it being from like Japan. But yeah. Nowadays, I don't know how open it is, and I don't know how to acquire those ingredients. Oh, I forgot. I made Japanese curry. I need to make Japanese curry again sometime soon, because I feel like that's one of by far my favorite dishes to make. And it's really fun and simple. And I like that. But yeah, I want to try to see if I can go back and try to cook some main dishes, because I do have some noodles that I need to use up. Like, I got a lot of noodles. I got udon, I got soba, I got ramen that I actually never used. I definitely need to try to figure out how to use that ramen noodles, because I feel like they might go stale / bitter or brittle, and they won't be any good. And there's a lot, so I gotta see if I can use that. Yeah, more cooking tangents. But anyway, that is it. I think we reached the quota. I think we've hit our 30 to maybe 20 minute mark. I don't know. I'll find out once I finish editing it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining, and I really hope you guys do enjoy me talking about stuff that I like, or just stuff about me that you most likely never knew about me. And hopefully we can have more fun discussions. Hopefully we can have some more stuff to talk about. And yeah, this is kind of like therapeutic to do. I kind of feel like this is what I wanted to do and what I needed to do, to just get stuff out there and let my voice out, and not just be stuck silent for so long. So I feel like this is going to be more of a recurring thing, just so I can get my thoughts and just bring my voice out there for you guys to listen to. So thank you guys so much again. And you know what? I'll leave with just one more thing. 2020 has gotten more crazier than we ever thought it could be. 2020 was a year that we didn't think that something like this would happen. 2020 was a year that most of us thought that we can try to get our lives together and try to be better. And for some parts, it did make us better. But in some parts, for most parts, it revealed most of us to be a different light than we thought they were. And it is scary to think about how something like that could happen, and it's easy to think about more scarier and crazier and more like desperate thoughts in the near future. But we have to like try to keep our mind strong and take breaks when we need to, and be sure to, if you can and safely, be able to just have fun conversations either with your family, or just be able to be with them a little bit more, as like I said, safely. And just being able to just not think so much about the negative stuff that is happening now and possibly in the future, but also making sure that we need to see if we can make it through this with a good, right mindset in our ways of like just see if we can just have a clear mind about this. Try to have our minds more open. Try to not go to hate straight dead on, and hopefully we can try to work this out together and not separately. I know it was kind of fumbling and jumbling, but this is what this podcast is. And if you enjoyed it, hopefully you'll stay tuned and see if you can want to try to join me in the next one. So thank you guys for listening. Hope to see you guys next time.